What's up, everybody? We're back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to God in prayer, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy. Had that strong, close, and personal relationship with God, okay? So today, I'm going to be taking you guys through an old message that God had me do when it came to certain things about lawlessness. And, you know, I'm going to try to put all the pieces together that all apply to this. But this is mainly pertaining to Chicago and just all over. You know, there's a big increase in lawlessness, especially with younger, the youth, like teenagers and stuff. And I see God led me to this article and YouTube title with teenagers in Chicago going crazy, doing all types of things that involve lawlessness. They stand on cars, they beat people up, they just doing things they aren't supposed to do. But God told me and led me to all the way back in what was it, November? It was like October-ish, November. He was speaking to me about these laws that will begin to be passed in certain areas in the U.S. But it will be bad because it will be stopping people that do these things from doing wrong. Like he was saying, they're trying to get rid of actions being taken upon people doing and acting on lawlessness. That's the devil's agenda. Like he's trying to increase lawlessness. And so now I see this going on in Chicago. And I mean, not to say that Chicago hasn't been chaotic before, but this is like with the younger teens and them doing stuff like this. It's just the timing on everything in God's words and warning to me. I'm just going to play that for you guys. And then, yeah, just everything that is involved in this, okay?
First, it was passed in the middle of the night with 40 minutes to read an 800-page bill, which is unacceptable. As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois. I want to remind voters that several elected officials that will be on the ballot in Orland Park voted for this abomination. Senator Michael Hastings, Senator Emil Jones, and Representative Justin Slaughter all voted to put criminals ahead of the safety of law-abiding citizens and police. In particular, Senator Hastings, who personally told me that this bill, that he had a family, and that this bill was horrible, and there was no way he would vote for it. An outright lie that, in my opinion, disqualifies him to hold his office.
Had me follow. He will lead me to certain scriptures, certain words, certain anything, okay? But this is what he said about the new rule, was what he called it. There will be a new rule or new rules that begin to pass, okay? Laws that will attempt to put my people away while the evildoers are running free, okay? So basically, I'm going to just explain this. Basically, the laws, so, you know, people like myself giving out these warnings, giving out these messages, trying to bring peace to people. People like myself that truly understand what God is doing and that he's not just, you know, the world has got him to seem as if he's just a belief rather than an actual entity and spirit working around the world and trying to help people and get them on the right track. Okay, the worldly ways have put him in and closed the back door on him. And so what he means is people like myself that are doing what I'm doing right now, the laws will be trying to cater to putting people like that and lock us up. Try it. They're gonna try. While people that are out here killing, stealing, and destroying, I repeat, that's nothing but the devil. Kill, steal, and destroy, right? Kill, steal, and destroy. Remember those three, because this is gonna be important. Kill, steal, and destroy. Those people that are out there doing that are gonna be running free. And basically with this purge law, what they call it, this is what the Lord said. He gave me 3 words: purge, chaos, riots. And he says, and part of this will be due to change in positioning. So basically when he take his people and put them in places that the not so great people were in, yeah, that's what he's talking about. Part of that, they gonna go crazy too and start problems.
Thank you, Mark. Developing overnight, another large teen gathering in downtown Chicago, ending with 2 teens shot. Hundreds of teens flooded Michigan Avenue last night, smashing car windows, trying to get into Millennium Park, prompting a major police response. Officers were escorting tourists and visitors to their cars in the Millennium Park parking garage. Shots were fired in the crowd around 9 o'clock last night near Michigan and Washington. 2 teen boys were wounded, both in fair condition. No one's in custody for that shooting. One Chicago native was stunned at what she was witnessing.
Don't mind the background noise. My 5-year-old, he thinks it's cool to help mommy vacuum, so I'm going to let him think that way, and then I'll give him a reward later for helping mommy. So, this is Chicago. This is Democrat ran. You got rid of Lori Lightfoot, and you voted in an even worse progressive leftist. Chicago and Illinois, they passed the Safety Act, which basically allows criminals to get away with whatever, even violent crimes. No accountability whatsoever. Have you not noticed that this doesn't happen in Republican-ran states and cities? Nope, only Democrat. So remember that when you go to the polls. This is their fault, 100%. And parents, we need to do a better job raising our children to grow up not acting like animals.
Trying to use that for political purposes.
Governor, one of the AP studies that course parts have been listed as concerning is the topic of movements for Black lives. Can you describe what about that is concerning, as some people are calling it, calling Black history inferior?
Is that part of the? So if you read actually what's in there, they're advocating things like abolishing prisons. Now that's a radical political position. You're free to take that in your own life. I don't think very many people would think that that would actually work. But how is that being taught as fact to be able to do that? And I also think it's not fair to say that somehow abolishing prisons is somehow linked to like Black experience, that that's what Black people want. I don't think that's true at all. I think they want law and order, just like anybody else wants law and order. So that is more of ideology being used under the guise of history, and we want to do history. That's what our standards for Black history are. It's just cut and dry history. You learn all the basics.
And so in this hour, after just seeing everything that I've laid out for you guys in this video, just understand, this is why we really need to hold God close, because when we start to receive from the Lord, the devil is going to use people to really just come after us, try to steal. It's going to be a lot of theft, okay? A lot of chaos. Like, it's just what it is. A repeat of a couple of years ago, especially. So we really need to be in prayer with the Lord. And when it comes to people's children, you know, the problem is people need to start teaching their kids about God. Because when you have God, it's harder for the devil to work his ways up. And God even says, raise up a child in a way that they will not depart. So, you know, it is parents' responsibility. They have to take accountability for what they allow their children to do, who they allow their children around. You know, there's no excuse, oh, I can't control my child. Well, imagine God sitting up here saying, yeah, the same thing, making excuses. God don't do that. God does not do that. God will take care. If you are doing what you are not supposed to do, there is a thing called judgment, and God will place it over your life. He don't play. He straightens us out. He tries to get us together. Do you understand? People got to start raising their kids up with God, introducing their children to the Lord, because they gonna need him. The devil is after the kids and children especially. You see what's going on, an increase in lawlessness, all this stuff happening. We really are living in the last days, and people are focused on the wrong things. Look at what's happening, you know? So I just wanted to show you guys this, because this is crazy. Like, make sure you are really up in that relationship with God, because you're going to need that close and personal relationship. I am so serious. And so will people's children, the youth, okay? Peace and blessings, and I will catch you in the next one.